Hi guys, so in this video we're going to talk about sort of tyre prep, truing tyres, sort of what you want to be doing with your additive, sizes, looking after the tyres, that kind of thing really. So I've got two sets of rears here, one's a set of Q40, one's a set of control tyres, doesn't really matter. These Q foams are brand new and these are not. So I think these have done quite a lot of runs, this set of rears. So I've got these just to show you chunking really. So I haven't got badly set chunks of rears, but you can probably just see on the lip of the tyre here where the foam's come away and been ripped off. I mean, that's pretty minor really. Like, I'd still use these sets for club racing. Only starts to affect performance badly when it's a big chunk, but that's what you'll find will be what ruins your tyres. Whereas you can see on these new sets here that haven't been trued, they're perfectly nice edge. So the first thing I want to talk about is tyre sizes. Depends what we're doing really. I mean, you can run them out the box. In my opinion, it's a bit of a false economy really, because the larger the tyre, one, it's slower, you're not going to be getting the same lap times, and they're more likely to trunk because you've got a bigger sidewall. The tyres get soft, it's really easy just to pull the edge out. I mean, personally, I very, very rarely see a set of tyres that have been run from the box that have been binned because they've got too small. Usually it's because they've chunked or fallen apart or are just a bit knackered, really. And that's the end of them. Whereas for club racing, personally, I true tyres to about 42mm front and 44mm rear. That's what these were true to. And I think they're down to about 43 now. That seems to be a really good balance between getting a lot of runs out of the tyres, and them still being fast and not chunking so badly. Whereas larger than that, I found maybe they chunk a bit too much, and smaller, you maybe not getting as many runs as you could out of the tyre. So like I say, for club racing, 42, 44. Generally if we're going somewhere like a national, so for example Eastbourne, where we're going in a couple of weeks, we will personally, I'll true them down to 41mm front and 43mm rear, whereas I know a lot of people are going as small as 40 and 42, and perhaps smaller, I don't know. But at that point, when you get into like sort of 40mm fronts, you're not getting many runs out of them tyres, they're just for pace. So my plan is basically to true them to 41 and 43, run them once on the Saturday, run them a second time on the Sunday, and then skim them on the true for the next national. So ideally getting fuller runs out as a set. Whether that actually happens is a different story. It's also a different tyre to what's here. We're using T-foam at the national, T35s or what I'm using. So yeah, that's it really for tyre sizes. A couple of other things you can do to make tyres last longer is run a very tiny bead of super glue around this edge here. So all that will do will help to prevent the tyres from chunking. However, it takes away a bit of the bite and the edginess of the tyre, so perhaps isn't quite as fast. However, if you're racing somewhere that's really high bite, it's quite common practice to run glue around the sidewall of the front. Sorry about that. To run additive super glue around the sidewall of the front tyres. If you get struggling with grip roll or the car being too edgy, it just takes away a bit of the bite and sort of stops the car wanting to flip over and turn in super hard. So I guess the next thing really is additive. So as a general rule, you want your rear for club racing, your rear on as long as possible, your front not so much. So I mean, an example, racing at Morecambe, so I'll run 2 sets through the night and alternate them between runs. So I'll put the rear additive on when I put the front additive on for the run before. So they've normally got maybe 45 minutes of additive time, which is as long as possible, really, with it being quite low grip as well. Whereas the front tyres, I'll generally, if I'm in heat 5, I'll put the front additive on in heat 3 and wipe all of my additive off in heat 4. So it's on for around 6 or 7 minutes, and then it's sort of left to dry for 6 or 7 minutes. Often as well, I'll put a second layer of additive on the rear tyres when I put the front on as well. Almost double dipping, I guess you could call it. It just helps to keep grip longer in the run, keeps the tyre a little bit softer. It's really important to dry your tyres before a run too. I see a lot of people going out onto track and nailing the cars just to wipe the additive off the surface of the tyre rather than doing it with a towel or a piece of tissue before. Generally, it's bad practice. For a start, it wears your tyres more. 2, your additive probably won't last as long before you start to run out of grip. So that's not great, really. Additive amounts always fully cover the rear, never anything less. Whereas the fronts is different. Generally, a new track, I'll start by going sort of half coverage from the inside of the tyre, so from sort of where my finger is here to the inside, and then tuning that later after I've got a feel for the car. As a general rule, more additive, you're going to get more steering, and less additive coverage, you're going to get less steering. Just use as a tuning aid, really. Another thing you can do to get more tyre life is swapping your tyres between runs. Ideally, you'd run 4 sets if you're doing 4 runs, and then keep alternating them. The problem being that if you're running the same set again and again and again, the tyre doesn't get time to dry or air, so it gets really soft and tends to chunk, and generally isn't as fast either. So if you can afford to, it's worth buying 4 sets at a time and then swapping them every run, and then just doing the same club night after club night, and that's how you're going to get the longest amount of time out of your tyres. We'll also do a video on how to true your tyres as well, sizes, cuts, how to radius the edges. Try and get that up as soon as possible. So yeah, that's it for tyre prep really. There isn't a lot there, there's no magic secret to getting the tyres to work. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Thanks.